I'm here with Jeff O'Connor, who is the Assistant Director of Broadcasting and Media Relations for the Wilmington Blue Rocks. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Justin?
Good. What is your role as the Assistant Director of Broadcasting and Media Relations?
Well, right now, since we're in the off season, I take care of kind of what goes online. I draft the press releases, whether it's recaps of a game story or an event we're having out here at the ballpark. I draft those. I'm responsible for our online newsletter, which we put out twice a month, which kind of is a summary of what's coming up at the ballpark or interesting stories that have gone on that I'll put out there. Let me see here. When the season starts, I'll be responsible for color commentary in the first 3 innings and the last 3 innings. I'll get to do play-by-play in the middle 3 innings. I'll be writing the game recaps of all the stories, going down to the clubhouse, getting sound from the players and the coaches. So that's kind of my main roles here.
And who are the Wilmington Blue Rocks for people who don't know?
They're a minor league baseball team here in Wilmington, Delaware. They're affiliated with Major League Baseball. They are the Advanced A affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. So a lot of players that come through here will bump up to the major leagues. We had a couple players over the last few years that are there that people know, like Eric Hosmer, who's one of the rising stars. He was a Wilmington Blue Rock. Mike Moustakis, a bunch of other guys who may be on the team this year. So we're a good feeding source. They go from us to AA, AAA, and then hopefully to the Royals. So that's who we are.
What factors made you get into the media relations field?
Well, media relations is kind of the secondary spot for me. Broadcasting is what I wanted to do. It's what I wanted to do since I was in middle school, high school. So I learned that if you want to do broadcasting, though, professionally, you've got to be able to write. You've got to be able to do, what I said, press releases, game recaps. You got to be able to write. So you need to have some media relations experience. So I got into broadcasting primarily, but I've had to learn media relations along the way. So media relations is kind of the secondary role as far as what I want to do career-wise, but it's a good thing to know, and you need to know in this business.
What did Rowan do to help you get started into the industry?
Well, I joined the campus radio station, Rowan Radio 89.7, WGLS FM, as a sophomore. I was there for 4 years. I went to graduate school for a year. I was a sports director in my senior year, and I just pitched in as much as I could. I did morning shows, radio shows, talk shows. I broadcasted sports events, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, football. So as soon as I got involved there, I just tried to get as much on-air time as possible. And then after senior year, I went to grad school for a year to get my master's in public relations. My undergrad was in radio, but I knew, like I said, media relations is a part of it, so I decided to get my master's in PR. I did that afterwards, and that was a big help too.
How much did your internship with the St. Paul Saints help you get the position you have now at the Blue Rocks?
It's big. In minor league baseball, like I said, you have to do broadcasting, you have to be able to write. In some cases, you have to be able to do sales and some other stuffs. It was a great experience because I was an intern. I did more than just broadcast media relations. I did marketing and promos, and I got to learn about sales, and I worked on our social media sites and accounts, so I did that. It was great. It was an all-around experience, but I got to do the media relations. I got to see what it was like to put together a media guide, to put out a weekly newsletter, to write for a program and make content that our fans would want to read. So it was an all-around great experience. I got to see what it was like, day by day, working from on a home game day, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., 14-hour days. That's what it's like in minor league baseball. So it was a great all-around experience. I got to learn just about every side of the business with the Saints.
What do you enjoy most about your job here?
Well, hopefully when the baseball season starts, I'll enjoy the baseball. Right now, it's a lot of writing press releases, and right now I'm actually working on the newsletter. So right now it's stuff that is nice to do because it's more about learning, and I've only been here a few months, so I'm still learning the ins and outs of our team and our organization. But hopefully once the baseball starts, getting to sit in a booth and watch a baseball game for free. That's kind of one of my favorite announcers. Doc Emmerich said, you get to see the games for free. So that's one of the good deals about minor league baseball. So hopefully that'll be the part I enjoy most when the baseball season starts.
What's the most challenging thing for you?
It's not too busy this time of year, but when baseball season starts, it gets real busy. So managing my time is my biggest thing. When I get in the morning, I know I'm going to have to do the game notes, which is the daily packs we put out for reporters and the visiting team broadcasters, as well as for myself for prep. I know I'm going to have to do that, and then I'm going to have to do my own prep for the game, going down to the batting cages and intertwining that with any stories I may have to write, and getting the press box ready before the game starts, and taking care of media credentials for any press that may be coming in last minute. So especially when baseball season starts, it's managing your time. You've got to be able to sit back, know what you have to do. You have to plan ahead. So that's the biggest thing, managing time.
We read that you broadcasted different sports at Rowan. Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I liked baseball. The baseball team was really good there. They were always in the playoffs, so I think that made it more fun for me. Basketball and football I like to do. Hockey as well is real tough to call because it's just constant action, especially on the radio. I did mostly radio stuff, so you can't really sit back and kind of let the action call itself. You've got to be on top of everything. So I like baseball the most. It gives you a chance to kind of sit back and let the game breathe. You kind of get to talk about some stories, and it's not just the quick calling of the game. Where hockey, it's tough to work in a story about a player or a coach or a little tidbit you have. Same with basketball, where it's constantly the players are always on the move. So baseball is a good mix of great action that everyone understands, everyone knows the game of baseball for the most part, and you get a chance to tell some stories too. So I like baseball the most.
Okay. Who's been the most interesting person you've gotten to meet, and how did they help you develop as a broadcaster?
Well, believe it or not, John Sadak, the director of broadcast media relations, he's the one who got me down here. I've been able to bounce ideas off of him. You know, I was introduced to him by my friend who was the assistant station manager at WGLS. He graduated with John. We both went to Rowan University. So he's kind of always been in touch. He's good. He always tries to help the alumni with job leads. And I've been able to bounce ideas off him as far as, you know, what to put on my resume, how to go about a job interview, what's the best way to get better on the air, what can I work in, what's the best way to prep for a baseball game. So really it's been John, and John does, you know, great things. He does Princeton basketball, he does University of Delaware women's basketball, so he just got to go to the NCAA tournament. He does NCAA on Westwood 1 for college basketball, so he's done a lot of things, and it's great because he's a Rowan alumni, so it's easy to talk to him. And I almost had a job here last year, but I ended up, the Saints thing ended up working out a little bit better. So, but he, you know, right away he said, you know, he helped me get this job here. So he's been great. He's a professional. He's been in the industry for 10 years. He's worked for, you know, the Yankees as director of broadcasting. So he's really been a great guy, and it's great because he's a local guy. You know, if you try and talk to maybe someone who's a national personality, you might not get as quality and local feedback, but he's easy to, you know, when I emailed him when I was a student, or now I can just walk over to his office and bounce ideas off him, so he's been really a good mentor for me.
What is your advice to students like us trying to get into the sports industry?
There's a couple things. I'd say one, network. It can't hurt to send an email out to, you know, depending what you want to do, whether it's broadcast, whether it's media relations, whether it's PR. Send an email out, you know, ask for advice. You know, if you're a broadcaster, send your tape to the local area. Send it to the Phillies. Send it to Scott Fransky. See if they'll take, you know, most of these guys are really good because they went through the process of having the same thing of trying to get their stuff critiqued and finding out how they could get better. Send it to Scott Fransky of the Phillies, or Tim Saunders of the Flyers. Send it to as many people as possible. That's the only way you're going to get better. And send an email out to anyone, whether it's University of Delaware, whether they need, you know, a volunteer assistant for a basketball game, whether it's just standing at the door, or, you know, running stats over to the broadcasters or something like that. Anything you can do, anything you can put on a resume will help. So networking is certainly number one. And get as much airtime and experience as possible, whether it's volunteer. I mean, sometimes you're not in this business, you're not always going to be able to make money right away. If you're in this business to make money, you're not going to have a very successful career. So you've got to really enjoy what you do, and I think that's the beauty of this. Enjoy what you do more so than the money, and just get as much airtime or writing experience as possible, whether it's something as simple as starting your own blog. If you can't get in somewhere, start your own blog and work at it hard every day, and try and get view counts, and you can put that on your resume. Anything you can do to help your resume or get as much experience in the field, whether it's media relations or broadcasting. Just try and do as much as you can, even if it doesn't pay off financially. You've got to put in the time, and if you do, eventually you'll get a gig that you like, and we'll be able to enjoy it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thanks.